Hey y'all, I hope you guys are doing well. You're having a great day. I wanted to share this revelation that I received from God that blessed me so much. Uh, and it blessed me in such a way that I want to turn around and share this with you. And I pray that it blesses you equally the same way, if not more. Because the more I think about it and the more I'm, just trying to process everything, the more blessed I start to feel, which is incredible. But I'm going to start off with a little disclaimer here and say, if you're not a deep thinker, I'm not saying that you can't, watch this video or you won't get it or, anything of the like. But I'm just kind of preparing you to kind of go down a spiritual rabbit hole. But like I said, praying that it blesses you the way it blessed me, because this is profound. So I was just sitting here in my quiet time. I take moments in the day to just have some quiet time whenever I can. And as I'm just sitting here minding my business, God says, hey, let's have a chat. Yada, yada, yada. So I'm going to show you what that yada, yada, yada is all about. A lot of times we go through this life, we go through experiences, we have, different exchanges with people and everything like that. And we try to find some type of meaning in all of these interactions that we have. And what I came to realize, and I was also listening to just this clip from YouTube from my pastor. And I came to realize the fact that a lot of times when we have people walk in and out of our lives, we feel it's a reflection of maybe anything that we say, do, think. A lot of times we take it personal, like, you're coming for me type of thing. But ultimately, how I view it is that we have an opportunity to learn. And I know fundamentally we understand that. But it just goes deeper than that. Because yes, we learn from other people. We learn from the experiences we have with people. We learn through the different types of exchanges that we have with people. But did we ever stop to learn that we also have something to give to those people? So whenever we have an interaction with anyone, it's always a mutual exchange. It may not always look balanced in the sense of, the scales and, I get 50% of something from you and you get 50% of something from me, and that makes a whole, right? We kind of think very linear in that sense, but it isn't always like that. And we know that based on the types of relationships we have, like especially in, our romantic relationships, whether we're dating or, we're in a marriage, everybody talks about, it's not 50-50 all the time. 70-30, sometimes 80-20, whatever. The same thing, period. Just in general. We don't got to label it. This is the human experience. So sometimes it may not happen in a balanced way. However, it balances itself out because both people are, I don't want to say expected to grow, but just for the lack of understanding, expected to grow. Now, do they actually grow out of this? Who knows? Is it our responsibility to really figure that part out? No. Our responsibility lies within us, right? So follow me where I'm going here. A lot of times, like I said, we think people come into our lives to teach us something, but we never stop to think about us actually coming into people's lives to teach them, to give our gifts to them. Because in a lot of sense, we are very self-serving as human beings. So every time we go through an experience, we're always thinking about, what am I getting out of this? What am I getting out of this? For better or for worse, we're always thinking that. No one is absolved from that. I don't care if you're a believer or a non-believer. It doesn't matter. That is the human experience, is to kind of ponder, how am I, growing out of this experience? How am I? How am I? How am I? Right? So I'm not trying to say that there isn't anyone on this earth who doesn't have an altruistic, fiber in their being. I don't want to go on a tangent here, but just stick with what I'm saying, is that a lot of times we think it's something coming towards us, but we never stop to think, what are we giving to others? Or the fact that God places people in our lives to give something to them. And it's not always about, someone coming in and thereby I'm supposed to benefit in some way. Sometimes the benefit is for them. Are you guys following where I'm going? Because I can almost sound like I'm talking in circles, but quite honestly, like I said, it's a mutual exchange. It may not always be balanced, but it balances itself out. And the reason why I came to this conclusion, and even in talking with God, has a lot to do with, I thought about, here's an example. When I reconnect with people that I haven't spoken to in many, many years, sometimes we feel as though when we connect with those individuals, they're coming back into our lives to give us something, to provide something. And I'm not talking about material. I'm talking about spiritual now. Something that they are going to give to us that's going to allow us to learn and grow, and thereby we elevate. And that can be true. I'm not saying that that can't be true. It can be true. However, have we ever stopped to think that a person coming back into our lives is because God is using you now to help them elevate and grow, to help them learn something? And so you may mislabel certain experiences that you have with those people as a personal attack, or, oh, they came to disrupt my life, or no. I'm not saying the possibility ain't there. What I'm saying is it's likely slim to none. I think we give too much credit to the enemy and what he can do and what he does and how he does it, when we keep forgetting that we are human beings who have like a very limited scope on life and understanding where spirituality is concerned. And so a lot of times the attack comes from within ourselves. What do I mean by that? What I mean is there are often times where we know things about ourselves that we are not willing to go to the depths and get messy with that stuff. What am I saying? Because I may just be losing a couple of you right now. So I'll use myself as an example. I've dealt with a lot of anger, bitterness, resentment, even in my, my life. I'll say maybe from like childhood, adolescence, early adulthood. It's only when I got really into my 30s that I started to work through a lot of that stuff, realizing that I was going to the places within me that I did not like about myself. However, courageously went in to say, okay, I don't like this aspect about myself. I don't like the person that I see in the mirror, but what am I going to do about it? There are a lot of people who are afraid to see themselves, the ugly parts of themselves. And when it is confronted, and don't confuse confrontation with fight, it means brought to the forefront. When it is confronted, people run. Most people run. And the way that they run is that they try to flip it and project it onto you. So what I'm saying now, going to my point with the realization of the mutual exchange and people coming in to help us, or, you helping them, a lot of that has to do with the inner work that we need to do. And so I'm realizing more and more, simply because I went and I did the work, that a lot of people are afraid to face themselves. So when you say something that could be, considered as constructive criticism, they will look at it as, ooh, you saw me, you exposed me, or you exposed a part of me. I'm not really ready to deal with that. And thereby, I'm just going to project back onto you like you're coming for me. You're coming for, people like to say they're coming for my character, your character assassination, or, you're trying to disrespect me or whatever negative, view or brush you want to paint it with. That is what is said. And so what I'm inviting a lot of you to understand is that maybe your own personal perspective may need some adjustment. Again, because I don't want to split hairs. I'm not saying that there isn't the possibility of someone just coming to purposely disrupt your peace. But how often is that actually happening versus us not realizing that there are parts of ourselves that we do not want to face or we do not want to work on, because if we were to start to work on it, we'd realize how ugly it actually is. But I want to submit this to you, that even in the light of that being ugly, there is opportunity to turn that ugliness, wash it off, clean it up, and make it something absolutely beautiful, right? Transmute. In other words, change from one state to the next. So I know this is deep and it's a lot, but this is something that, God and I were talking about, and I was just saying, like, why do people get so offended on something that clearly is there? And then I'm realizing, oh, it's because it's an acknowledgement of something that they may potentially been trying to bury. And thereby, when you expose that thing, expose meaning bring it to the light, not come for you, not want to cut you in any way. Expose means bringing light to a situation that it becomes scary for those individuals. So all of this in a nutshell, if you're not hearing anything that I just said in the last 12, almost 13 minutes, take this away with you. Not all experiences are here to disrupt your peace, but to actually encourage you to become your best self. And addressing the ugly parts of whatever you've gone through, whatever that makes you, in a sense that you will need to work through. Never take that as a personal attack, but rather an opportunity to say, you know what, let's sit back, think about this thing, have a conversation with God about it, see where, you've gone wrong, or, I'm really, I want to choose my words carefully, because I don't want this to sound too conceited. However, I'm proud of myself with the work that I've done within myself. And I credit a lot of that to seeking therapy, to sitting down with a professional and talking about some of these aspects of my life that had me as a prisoner. And I encourage people that if you're going through things, you're trying to work through trauma, don't do it by yourself. Have someone that you can sit down with and have that conversation, because sometimes you need to even hear your own self speak in order to understand where in life you are, where you're going, how you got to this point, and where is the turnaround, where's the turning point to where now you can take this experience and turn it into something beautiful moving forward. We all have ugly things, me included. Okay, so I ain't sitting here giving you all this deep stuff and think, oh yeah, I ain't got a flaw. I got many. And I got a lot that are deep rooted that I have to continue working each day, and even be transparent with the people that I'm sharing an experience with, so that they have a deeper understanding of where Corey comes from when she either reacts a certain way or when she responds a certain way. Where is that coming from? Because trust and believe, there's always a source. I just happen to know quite a few of my sources. And so by being transparent with those that I really care about or have an exchange with, I shared that with you, not so that you can turn around and weaponize it, but I know there's a possibility you can do that. But I share it with you so that whenever a situation arises where there's a trigger point, you know where that trigger comes from, because you and I have had that conversation. And if we haven't had that conversation, I am always open to have that conversation, to say, hey, when you do such and such, it reminds me of such and such. I'm working on it, but this is something that's been with me for the last 40 years. So, I'm asking for some grace and understanding. And at the same time, I'm working on that. Not everybody has the capacity to understand themselves enough to say these things, but all the more you should dig into that, right? So I'm going to wrap it up. It's been 16 minutes, almost 17 minutes, but I really, really, really was blessed with this revelation. I wanted to share it with you guys. I hope there's something profound that you find within whatever I just said. But really, the point is to really take time to step back and let things marinate, because not everyone is coming for your neck. Sometimes they're just coming to show you something, and maybe the delivery may not be as nice, but ultimately the message is for your greater good. And always look at things for your greater good. When you start to look at things for your greater good, you'll start to really just slow down and not take everything as, something to deter you off your path. It's not always the truth. I feel like 10% of life is like that. And then there's another 80%. I don't even know what the percentages of. What I really am trying to say is that 10% of that coming for you just because I don't like you and I want to destroy you ain't as big as we think it is. It really is. It's the smallest part of that pie. So, all right, I'm rambling. I'm done. But I hope you've been blessed with this message. All right, you guys take care. Peace.